Throughout cinematic history, there's been more than enough empirical evidence to back up the claim that oftentimes the third film in a series or even a trilogy can often not be as good as those that came before, especially when that third film follows up what is often most considered to be the best in a franchise. To cite examples, Return of the Jedi followed The Empire Strikes Back. Dark Knight Rises followed The Dark Knight. Then you have films like X-Men: The Last Stand followed X2, X-Men United. And now here we are with the sixth film in the main X-Men franchise, X-Men Apocalypse, and X-Men Apocalypse follows X-Men Days of Futures Past, which for me was the best X-Men movie. And as is the case, X-Men Apocalypse does not live up to what preceded it. And I would go so far to say that this would be the equivalent of Singer's last stand for his turn as the director of the X-Men. Not to say Apocalypse is as bad as Last Stand. I mean, it's good and there's some fun stuff in there, but just overall and in the end, it's pretty forgettable. And it just doesn't live up to what happened before, what happened in Days of Future Past. And for me, that was a truly engaging, thought-provoking, exciting, tense, suspenseful sci-fi action adventure. You felt the stakes, you knew what the stakes were, and you really were on the edge of your seat, wondering how everything is going to come out. Apocalypse, I think there's a lot of things going against it. I mean, it's conceivable that it suffers from comic book superhero fatigue, being this is the fourth major comic book film to come out in 2016, following Deadpool, Batman v Superman, and Captain America Civil War. And this is only a few weeks after Civil War. And also the fact that, like I said, this is the sixth film in the main franchise, and I guess technically this would be the 9th or 10th if you account for Wolverine and Deadpool. And you pretty much are quite familiar with who these characters are and what they're capable of. And you kind of know what to expect, and it delivers what you expect, but it doesn't really give you anything more than that. To the point where, while I liked Apocalypse, it wasn't particularly exciting, had me on the edge of my seat at any point. I probably think the most enjoyable part was Quicksilver in two particular scenes, but in the end, they felt more like fan service moments that were kind of sometimes a bit silly. The performances overall were good, but the main one I want to focus on is Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse. Now, Isaac is quite good in the part, but it's just the part itself. I did not feel the menace or the threat that Apocalypse is supposed to be. I mean, yes, he has powers, and he is allegedly the first mutant, and he has some incredible powers that just outclass everyone else, but in the end, it's obviously he's got to be defeated, and it takes the power of the X-Men to do it, so he really isn't all that. But it's just, when he uses his powers, you're like, that was cool. But I just never really felt the menace that I felt in previous X-Men movies. I remember hearing complaints about other comic book films, how sometimes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, people complain about the villain is kind of lackluster in most of the movies. And I can certainly apply that here with Apocalypse, where he's good, he's foreboding, but again, I just did not feel it. So, as much as I like the X-Men franchise, and I recognize that there were other missteps, and I absolutely love Days of Future Past, especially the extended director's cut. But I was quite underwhelmed by Apocalypse, and I would have to give Apocalypse 3 stars out of 5. It was good. It didn't bore me, but it really gave me more of the same, and it really didn't expand upon anything that I haven't already seen in the other films. And its problems are expounded because of how in the last film, spoilers, in the last film, events were retconned. And basically I was struggling and confused about where exactly the events in this film fall and how they relate to the last film and the films that are to come after, because this is a prequel to the event in X-Men X2 and Last Stand, but because the last Stand was erased, so obviously I guess we're in an alternate timeline, but that's not made very clear, and I was a little lost about just what exactly is going on and how it all ties together. So, like I said, I was a bit underwhelmed, and this might be a good time to actually put these characters to bed, not retire them, but give them a break and let them sit by the wayside until they're ready to come back as I guess what I'm hearing is X-Force, and I guess we'll see. But as a concluding film in the trilogy regarding First Class, it was just an okay finale. And overall, of the main 6 X-Men movies, I would rank this 5th, obviously standing above The Last Stand and below the original X-Men. So, X-Men Apocalypse, 3 stars out of 5. So if you like this review, hit that like button below. Have you seen X-Men Apocalypse? Or you're looking forward to Apocalypse? Let me know in the comments below. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do, so you can stay on top of my reviews as they come in. So until next time, see you at the movies.